Morning, Grandad. It's the 30th December. Here down on the Severn. Third video. Third time lucky. I will get a fish today. I'm pike fishing. Limited bait. A couple of mackerel. One massive roach and smaller roach as well. And the good old lamprey. So I'm here on the Severn. River's looking very nice. It's dropped plenty since I first got back. Visibility doesn't look too amazing, but it's a beautiful morning. And I'm ready to give it my best shot. Rumour has it there's some big crocs down here, so this is my first swim of choice. A big slack. Lots of dead water going down to a broken tree. Banks are very muddy, but I reckon this is a good first peg. I'm gonna have one rod just there and another rod just there. Pig of the day. Got a 35 gram float on a paternoster going down to a 2.5 ounce lead. We have a feeder boom kicking out a pair of semi-barbless, well, barbless size 4 trebles, because we're going to go chuck this down there. If I do hook a pike, I'm going to hit and hold this fish, and I want to be able to have the hook hold using the size 4s to get them out of the snags. I'm fishing on 20 pound mono, 2 carp rods, 2 3/4 pound test curve, ready to go. So just get this rod out, set up the other rod. I'm hoping for a fast bite today, but I don't want to jinx myself. But yeah, on my ones again today. Feeling good. I said this in the last video about the grayling, but no. It's warmer today than it has been the past few days. Hopefully pike get on the feed. I've got an absolute clonk of a bait of a roach, which I probably will use later in the day. You'll enjoy watching this getting put out, because if fish does take that up, sand bite would be fun. But yeah, I'll get these rods out and show you the setup. One rod out, sitting on the paternoster, just in the backflow. I'm just going to convert this over from my canal rig. I'll straight through float down to a paternoster again, just to fish behind that bush there. Hopefully there's a pike, but we'll find out. So both rods are out. We got a downstream rod on a little joey mackerel, upstream rod on a half sectional lamprey. It's just gone 10 o'clock, so I'll probably fish about 4 o'clock today. Plenty of time for a bite, I reckon. We'll just see how it goes. Bit of an upstream wind, slightly cool, but I'm ready for it. As you can see, got one float there, and the other float just downriver in front of the bush. It's very deep water. I think upstream rod's in about 6 foot. Downstream rod's in about 7 foot of water, so there's plenty of depth to hold fish out the main flow. It's quite a long slack as well, so that's quite nice to fish in. Spaced it up the rods a bit. Right, catching a bit. Watching this float here, it just slightly sat up, so it's gone from laying nearly flat just to cocking up. We'll keep an eye on it. So, happily set up in the second swim now. We spent 45 minutes in that first swim. Not a knock. Floated a bit will wobble, but I think it was just the current. So I've slightly made it a bit more over depth to give a more positive bite indication. Very tight swim, but we've got a big slack, absolutely massive slack coming through. So got both rods. It's very tight. We've only a small platform to work off if we do get a bite. I got a big tree here, big hanging hanging over a tree there. Both rods out, same again, lamprey and mackerel. Both very smelly baits as the water's quite coloured up. But I'm hoping for a quick bite so I can move on again. I probably will go upriver come 12:30, I reckon. Just try further up the stretch as I started on the lower part of the BA stretch here. But we'll see how it goes. There were 45 minutes here, 11:30, 11:45, we'll go again. So we've been about half an hour, 25 minutes of a new peg, and the jungle swim, I want to call this one. Yeah, it's again, it's a slow day maybe, but all it takes is one bite to turn it into a good day. But we just got to keep moving really. The sun's out. I'm sitting in the shade, so it's a bit cold. I've just come to the top of the bank just to warm up a little bit, keep an eye on the floats. Rods are on bait runners, so well, on a looser clutch, so if it does take off, I will have a chance to get down to the rod and play the fish instead of my rod disappearing. But yeah, I've just come top of the bank in the sun, keep an eye on the rods. You got one float to the left, one float to the right. As you can see, it's a very tight swim, but it's another deep hole to be explored. You never know, it might be a 25-pound pike sitting in there somewhere. Maybe not this one, but the next one we'll find out. Just brought this first rod in about 10 foot just to see if anything in this little hole here will pick it up. Still got the rod further out, just sitting on the outside of that tree, but we'll just see if anything is closer in, because I can imagine the fish will be sitting right in this dead water as well. Finished in the second peg of the day. Just having a little bit of a walk down the river now. Just dropped off my tackle by one of the swims. That looks nice. But we're gonna have a stroll, have a look, try and find some pikey swims. Tell you what, this does look like it would hold fish. It just looks a bit too snaggy. Last thing I want to do is hook a pike or lose a rig with baited trebles in the water. So we're going to keep on walking. We'll have a look. Thankfully it's just me on the bank today, so I've got the whole below the football club stretch to myself, which is nice. Here we go, this is a nice long peg, a few pigeons about, plenty of pigeons. So I'll show you this peg. There's a bit of flow. Pace a little bit here, shallowing up as we work our way down to Stourport. So it might be worth having a half an hour on that peg I've just shown you, and then we'll go up river, up towards the top of the stretch, and have a couple of drop-ins there. But it's coming up to 12 o'clock now, so I was going to drop into that peg by where my tackle is. Yeah. Did not realise how far I walked. Probably walked a good 150, 200 metres. I was thinking, where's my tackle? Bugger. No, I found it. I've got it. We're dropping this one. Or the next. Can't decide. I went in the tackle shop this morning, knowing I was going after pike. Opened up Rob's freezer and I said, oh my god, look at the size of that. He had some roach in, sold single packed, and he goes, yep, maybe for big pike. I was like, I'll have one. Look at the size of that full roach. I reckon not far off a pound or just over. Any other day I was float fishing, I would have loved catching these, but today, that's my bait. So we're gonna get it out and give it a whirl. We have daddy roach and just a little sprat on the left hand rod, but if daddy roach starts to go, it's gonna be a good fish, I would like to think. But yeah, I can sit in the sun, have a bit of lunch. It's just gone 12 o'clock, I think. So yeah, have a relax for an hour, and then we'll move down for the last 3 hours maybe. We'll fish until dusk, make the most of it. So it's just gone 1 o'clock here on the Severn. It's I don't want to say it's a slow day, it's a day out on the bank, so I can't really complain about that. But still no fish. We found a hole which is about 11 foot deep. I've got two 12-foot rods and they were both pretty much maxed out with the float stops. Plenty of wildlife about today, it's been quite nice to watch. As you can see, floats are stationary. Got one down there with the big roach. I feel like I was a little bit optimistic to chuck that out without actually catching any fish as yet, but you never know until you try out. Yeah, we're gonna go give it another 10 minutes here, and then we're gonna get in the car, drive about half a mile up the river to the start of the stretch, and find a couple of holes there. Hopefully there'll be a pike somewhere waiting for me. If not, I'll be waiting for them. So back again. We're at our second venue now. I drove up the river, and there just wasn't that many pegs that would what I thought would hold pike. So I've come down to a club water now. Again, not many places where you can hold pike, but there is just one peg where during the summer they're going crazy for the bait fish. So still on the Severn, got a big massive flow and all this slack water just here. Mind, it's not that deep, but it is still slack. So if there are any pike on this stretch, and I do think they would be holding one of the only slack water areas. So I've got mackerel downstream, roach on the top, just a small one. I'll give it an hour here, and then we'll have a venture. Not too sure where yet. Spoke to a fisherman who was fishing near the side of the bank, and he said the temperature's just over 5.4 degrees, tipping on to 5.5, which is extremely cold. So I know the canal's warmer than that, so it's past, maybe even nearly 3 o'clock now. I'm going to get down the canal and I fish until dark. So desperate for that pike, I am very desperate, but I can't leave you 3 YouTube videos with no fish. So onwards and upwards, let's go catch one, I pray. The Severn was a dud today. Went to that second venue. It just wasn't really fishable that well. It's very different to where it was in the summer. Lots of trees have come down in the places where the fish thought would hold, and I just don't want to risk getting snagged up. So I'm back on the canal where I had a bite in my first YouTube video, which was only last week, that I missed and struck into thin air. But we're back. Got 2 rods out, one with a headless mackerel, one with a roach, which produced a bite last time. We'll just fish it. It's gone well past 3 o'clock now, but I've got plenty of lays on, so I'm happy to stay out until it does get a bit dark. I don't know if I'm stubborn or just too keen, but it's getting dark now. Head torches come out. I just need to catch. I spoke to a few anglers on the bank today. On the canal, they've struggled. It's been the 3rd time I would have changed venues if I go again, but I think I'm quite happy to sit here, wait it out. At 5 o'clock, I'll head back to the car. Plenty of wildlife going up to roost. It's quite nice to see. Got an owl, a tawny owl somewhere. Evening all. It's coming up to 5:30 now. It's an uneventful day. Bit disappointing really. I really did want to catch a pike today, but it happens again. So we'll go again, River Severn or a hotspot on the canals. You're still yet to figure out where we're going to go and have a look at the weather and the conditions. But I'm going to clip my fingers now, and you're going to be seeing me on River Severn. Like magic. Back on River Severn. Going for the pike. I've got 1 rod out. Just show you my setup for the rivers. Deadbait roach, trace, £20 mono straight for you to feed a boom, £6 bottom, 2.5 ounce lead, 35 gram float, a 30 gram float. Fishing in the slacks. The river's down a lot from last week, so we'll give it a whirl. Hello again. So, first peg was a absolute dud, saying we had 2 bites last week after that within minutes of setting up. Wind's picking up now, but we've just moved into our second peg. Yeah, we're hiding out the wind. I'll just show you the spot. Another slack, of course. 2 rods, 1 either end. Big overhanging tree. We did try and fish this last week, but it was absolutely racing through, so we'll keep you updated. So on our 2 rods we've got a lamprey up the top, and then we've got half a large mackerel on the bottom stream rod. See how it goes. It's not looking too favourable, I must admit, but always positive. Get in! Yes! Oh, come on, lamprey! Happy days, in one in the net. Oh, what a relief! What a relief! Right. let it rest in the net for a minute, get set up, and then we'll get out and get it unhooked and have a look at it. We'll see you in a sec. Fish on the net, resting in the margins. We're just gonna let it rest up a minute after unhooking it. We're just gonna get a weight, a couple more photos, and then we'll release it. Here's the bait still. Here's the bait. Half mackerel, headless, and it's such a positive bite. So, bob once, bob twice, ran over to the rod, and off she went. 13 pound, 11 ounce. I did guess 13. What a fish. Mwah. Hold her steady, in the flow. She'll kick off when ready. Getting ready. Happy day. Well, task complete. The curse is broken. Third video, third time lucky. It's New Year's Eve. Last day of 2024, and we've gone absolutely nailed a pike. So, in our third spot of the day now. As always, another slack. Really fast water pulsing through the main body of the river. This is a small island with more water on the other side. But we got a half a mackerel and then a long section lamprey for final baits of the year. With my last pike fishing session. My last pike fishing session until next season, really.